Did you hear this? MTV is going away.
Whoa, this looks like it might rock. Yeah, maybe.
Man, when I was a kid, MTV was the channel. You flipped through your cable guide and hit MTV. You didn't watch TV, you listened with your eyes. Music videos weren't just promos, they were cultural events. Fast forward to 2025, MTV 80s, MTV 90s, and several MTV Decade channels shutting down by December 31st. No more MTV 80s or 90s, and it feels like we're losing a part of our childhood.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
In this video, I'm walking through the rise of MTV's Decade music channels, why they mattered, and why they're being retired now. Let's take a trip down memory lane and see what this means for music nostalgia and how we consume culture today. Man, Alf, times are a-changin'. When we look back at MTV in its prime, really from 1981 into the 1990s, MTV got its launch in August 1981. Man, I was born that same year. And for the first time, music got a home on television. Videos were created. Playlists were legendary. VJs, video jockeys, became personalities. Hello, Kennedy.
Hey there, it's Kennedy. And that was Belly with Now They'll Sleep from their album King. You know what? I think it's time to tell you how to write me a letter. And I would love it if you would write to me any time of day or night. You can seriously put pen to paper and write me a letter. Kennedy's Little Mailbox, 1515 Broadway, 4th floor, New York, New York, 10036. That's the conventional way. And, of course, through email. And, of course, it's mtvslave@aol.com. And Peter Casey wrote me a letter under subject, I eat paste. Kennedy, what was your choice adhesive to eat as a child? I'm very curious and I really want to know. In grade school, Elmer's was the choice, but now in college life, I feel I should graduate onto something with more body and flavor, such as 3M Scotch tape, double-sided, that is. Thank you for your time, Peter Casey. Well, Peter, that letter just made me remember the vibrance in life that there's nothing like a bottle of glue.
People you just let pick your soundtrack for you. In the 80s and 90s, MTV was the gateway for music discovery. You discovered new bands, saw video premieres, watched live performances. MTV was more than a channel, it was cultural currency. I remember Nirvana Unplugged like it was yesterday. Remember when Thriller or Sledgehammer video premieres were events? Or when MTV's Summer Fridays would interrupt regular programming for video blocks? That's how central it was. As cable expanded, MTV also added more genre-focused, decade-focused spin-offs. MTV Hits, MTV Jams, MTV Classic, MTV 80s, MTV 90s. These became beacons for nostalgic fans like myself, people who wanted only the music video flavor that they grew up with. I can remember even on Beavis and Butthead, what a show from the 90s, them watching MTV music videos was a big part of the culture.
I guess it sounds kind of cool.
MTV recognized something critical. Fans don't just want music, they want the music of their time. So MTV launched Decade channels, MTV 80s, MTV 90s, to capture that nostalgia, 24/7 music videos from those eras. For Gen X and older millennials, those channels were a time capsule. You could turn them on and instantly be back in your teen bedroom, VCR recording, TRL broadcasts, hanging posters, rewinding tapes. I think Carson Daly comes to mind. MTV 80s played Duran Duran, Madonna, Michael Jackson. MTV 90s gave you Brit pop, grunge, early hip hop, Mariah Carey, and more. They weren't perfect. There was a lot of repetition, but they provided emotional resonance. Over time, MTV refined their Decade channels. They added video countdowns, flashback programming, themed nights. The Decade channels became more than nostalgia. They were always on video jukeboxes.
And that's all you wrote was your name?
Yeah, I wrote my name too, yeah, see? Beefus.
But the decline began. Why music TV started losing its relevance. By the mid-2000s, cracks started to show in MTV's dominance. Why? Because the internet really changed everything. YouTube and on-demand video, why wait for a music video block when you could click play instantly? YouTube made the MTV schedule obsolete. Streaming and music services, it's all at your fingertips whenever you want. Services like Spotify, Apple Music, and later video streaming platforms gave music front and center, often with lyric videos, artist promos, or official visualizers. You didn't need a TV. changing viewing habits. Younger gens were raised on TikTok, Reels, short-form video. They consume music through social media, not scheduled TV programming. Cost versus ROI for linear channels. Running a music video channel costs a lot of money. Licensing music video rights, broadcast infrastructure. When viewership declines, the economics get brutal. MTV's own strategic shift. They started prioritizing non-music content, reality shows, Awkward, Teen Mom, etc. Its brand drifted. That shift in focus diluted the music backbone of MTV itself. So the decade channels were already fighting headwinds, decreasing viewership, licensing costs, changing consumption, and internal brand drift. It leads us here today now. MTV 80s and 90s are shutting down at the end of 2025. Why this year? Why by December 31st, 2025? Especially when, 44, 45-year-olds like me love this stuff, need it. In late 2025, Viacom's MTV networks announced they will shut down MTV 80s and 90s and several decade-themed music video channels. Reports confirm the closures will be effective December 31st, 2025. Some of the probable reasons behind these decisions. Number one, it's unrecoverable decline in linear TV viewership. We've seen the move from cable to streaming services, and this is really no different. MTV has been a victim of this just move in technology. Viewership for linear scheduled music video channels has declined consistently. If your average viewer is in single digits or tens of thousands, the channel is no longer financially viable. Licensing and royalty costs are non-trivial. Even for decade content, music publishers and record labels, they still demand royalties, licensing, maintaining those rights for millions of songs across many labels for 24/7 broadcast is expensive. So if there's no viewership or if it's dropping, those costs don't scale down easily. It's just not affordable. Streaming and digital platforms really have absorbed the audience, like YouTube. MTV knows their audience is elsewhere. The music video consumption has shifted almost entirely to digital on-demand platforms. MTV likely wants to reallocate resources towards digital monetization. Media companies constantly evaluate which assets are sustainable. Shutting a linear channel with diminishing returns frees up capital and bandwidth for higher growth areas: streaming, licensing, brand extensions. Contract expirations, infrastructure reset. That's really the biggest thing. Cable. People have been cutting cable for years and years now. Some broadcaster licensing agreements may be up for renewal. Instead of renewing when the numbers are bad, the decision may have come at a contractual expiration point. Nostalgia is viewed as a finite asset. We'll see about that. I'm really going to test the 80s, 90s nostalgia for me will live on forever. Nostalgia has power, but it's not infinite. The decade channel's core audience is aging. Younger viewers might not be tuning into the 80s, 90s content in the same way, so the bubble of nostalgic momentum may be tapering. Now, what does this closure mean for culture and collecting? For people like me who grew up watching MTV video premieres and keeping VCR timers, this isn't just about a channel, it's part of the fading of cultural memory. And people like me struggle with this. MTV 80s, 90s were curation engines. They helped you discover songs you hadn't heard. Without that linear curation, discovery becomes algorithmic. YouTube, TikTok, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's different, less serendipitous. Now, with that said, we'll probably see a surge in nostalgic content. YouTube compilations, like what we see here, nostalgia podcasts, throwback playlists, as audience chase the memory gap. We won't let it go. Even though MTV might not be on showing this stuff, it will still be around. There will be places to find it, streaming it elsewhere. Channels like YouTube, Vivo, Apple Music, and TikTok will absorb that music video legacy. We're likely to see more official artist video playlists, legacy channels, and streaming 90s MTV experiences. This, for me, is important to archive and preserve. For example, when channels shut, broadcast archives matter. Who holds those MTV 80s, 90s video blocks, master tapes, VG segments? Some might get lost unless digitized. Nostalgic collectors may rush to grab those CDs, digital vaults, etc. Hybrid pop-up channels. Some streaming services or cable providers might run pop-up or limited time tribute channels for MTV flashback blocks rather than full channels, or rights holders might repurpose MTV 80s, 90s catalogs into streaming decade playlists with commentary. To be perfectly honest with you guys, my heart kind of aches thinking there's no more MTV 80s going into 2026. No more seamless curated channel of that one song I forgot I love playing right after my favorite VJ intro. Again, Kennedy was one of my favorites. But this is change. Culture evolves. So here's what I think is next. Fans, creators should start capturing those playlists, VJ segments, promos before they get lost in time. Streaming platforms should license decade feel blocks like MTV 80s On Demand to keep the memory alive. Collectors, content creators like us should tie nostalgic content to modern formats, music video analysis, decade retrospectives, artist origin stories. And I think that's what's going to happen. So if you watch TRL, you taped your favorite videos, you dreamt MTV would never end, you're not alone. MTV 80s and 90s closing is more than a shift in channels. It's a marker of how we consume music now, how nostalgia becomes currency, and how media companies evolve or die. If you grew up with MTV, drop a comment with your favorite video premiere memory. And if you want more nostalgic deep dives, hit subscribe, because even if MTV 80s is going away, the stories behind it deserve to live on. We will also have affiliate links down in the video description as well as in the pinned comment if you want to take advantage of nostalgic products, services, etc. from the 80s and 90s. My friends, thank you for joining me again today. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.